You are a very discreet messenger, and a good girl.' Not feeling quite certain, as she afterwards said, whether he might not be coming over her with these compliments, Dolly kept as far from him as she could, cried again, and resolved to defend her pocket, for the letter was there, to the last extremity. 'I have some design,' said Mr Haredale, after a short silence, during which a smile, as he regarded her, had struggled through the gloom and melancholy that was natural to his face, 'of providing a companion for my niece, for her life is a very lonely one. Would you like the office? You are the oldest friend she has, and the best entitled to it.' 'I don't know, sir,' answered Dolly, not sure but he was bantering her. 'I can't say. I don't know what they might wish at home. I couldn't give my opinion, sir.' 'If your friends had no objection, would you have any?' said Mr Haredale. 'Come, there's a plain question, and easy to answer.' 'None at all that I know of, sir,' replied Dolly. 'I should be very glad to be near Miss Emma, of course, and always am.' 'That's well,' said Mr Haredale. 'That is all I had to say. You are anxious to go. Don't let me detain you.' Dolly didn't let him, nor did she wait for him to try, for the words had no sooner passed his lips than she was out of the room, out of the house, and in the fields again. The first thing to be done, of course, when she came to herself, and considered what a flurry she had been in, was to cry afresh; and the next thing, when she reflected how well she had got over it, was to laugh heartily. The tears once banished gave place to the smiles, and at last Dolly laughed so much that she was fain to lean against a tree and give vent to her exultation. When she could laugh no longer, and was quite tired, she put her head dress to rights, dried her eyes, looked back very merrily and triumphantly at the Warren chimneys, which were just visible, and resumed her walk. The twilight had come on, and it was quickly growing dusk, but the path was so familiar to her from frequent traversing, that she hardly thought of this, and certainly felt no uneasiness at being left alone. Moreover, there was the bracelet to admire, and when she had given it a good rub, and held it out at arm's length, it sparkled and glittered so beautifully on her wrist, that to look at it in every point of view, and with every possible turn of the arm, was quite an absorbing business. There was the letter too, and it looked so mysterious and knowing, when she took it out of her pocket, and it held, as she knew, so much inside, that to turn it over and over, and think about it, and wonder how it began, and how it ended, and what it said all through, was another matter of constant occupation. Between the bracelet and the letter there was quite enough to do without thinking of anything else, and admiring each by turns, Dolly went on gaily. As she passed through a wicket gate to where the path was narrow and lay between two hedges garnished here and there with trees, she heard a rustling close at hand, which brought her to a sudden stop. She listened. All was very quiet, and she went on again, not absolutely frightened, but a little quicker than before perhaps, and possibly not quite so much at her ease, for a check of that kind is startling. She had no sooner moved on again, than she was conscious of the same sound, which was like that of a person tramping stealthily among bushes and brushwood. Looking towards the spot whence it appeared to come, she almost fancied she could make out a crouching figure. She stopped again. All was quiet as before. On she went once more, decidedly faster now, and tried to sing softly to herself. It must be the wind. But how came the wind to blow only when she walked, and cease when she stood still? She stopped involuntarily as she made the reflection, and the rustling noise stopped likewise. She was really frightened now, and was yet hesitating what to do, when the bushes crackled and snapped, and a man came plunging through them close before her. End of chapter 20.